What's up, y'all? My name's Tim Ream. This is day 62 of 75 hard. This is going to be the shoulder workout. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to finish it up, just depending on how much time it takes to get through the actual workout itself. I might end up throwing abs in there or triceps. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not exactly sure just yet. One thing I am going to do a little bit different on this workout is I'm going to start putting and prioritizing the rear delt and traps. Okay, I'm starting to add traps in there too. So it still is going to be pretty brief and infrequent, but I'm going to do kind of a superset. And basically, you've got the rear delt that I'm going to do with like a rear, almost, I forget what they're even called, like a leaning over fucking dumbbell. I don't know, for the rear lats. Then I'm going to go into the traps, which are still hitting the rear, but they're also starting to warm up the traps there, and then I'm going to do some supersets for traps right at the end there. You're going to start off with standing military press over here on this machine and do some heavier, bulky movements at first, and then, work our way from the front to the side to the rear. And that'll be the progression. So, yeah, let's get started, man.
Yeah, we had a conversation maybe 6 months ago now, and the demographic really, it surprised me, but you also have something for fathers and sons, which really resonated with me. I'm gonna be honest, when I first saw the clips, I was pretty standoffish, and then after talking to you, I was like, oh man, this is really needed. There's a couple of these programs out there that I've run across, but yours seems to be making the most impact. But can you talk about the father-son event a little bit?
Yeah, so that one's called the Squire program. And again, I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm always thinking about solutions to problems, because that's what entrepreneurism is, right? Like you saw.
Listening to Bedros Keuilian and the Sean Ryan show, did an interview about 9 months ago. Haven't heard it before, so I'm going to play it in the background today.
So you saw a problem, you created
two guys I definitely respect, have respect for, and you can learn a lot off of them. So
graduating the project, man, we're graduating the project. And man, if I had all these stuff that we're learning here as a kid, I would have done so much better, because I come from a fatherless home. Well, I come from a home where my dad was there, but he was absent. And so I realized, we got a 50% divorce rate. So half the dads are not always around.
Is that the country? It's a 50% divorce rate?
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Wow.
50% divorce rate.
I didn't know that.
My own personal belief is, of the 50% who are together, the dads, half of those dads are mentally and emotionally absent. They just feel like, wow, I'm providing for my family. Dude, that's the bare minimum to provide. Like, you got a mentor, you got a coach. Let's not forget that for thousands of years, every culture, in New Guinea, the Aborigines, everywhere. For example, in New Guinea, the dad would take his most closest confidants, who he shared core values with from the tribe, and when the son was about 13, 14 years old, he would take the son out of the house, and they'd go to the edge of the forest, just as the sun's going down. And the dad would take a knife, and he'd just make a small cut on that boy's arm. So he starts bleeding. He hands him the knife, and he says, go into the forest, and don't come out until the sun comes up. Williams is waiting for you. And when you get out here, you want a seat at the table for us to forge you into a confident, capable.
Pre-exhaust these shoulders with a few warm-up sets.
Done, right? Today we don't
and it's also kind of going to set the pace for all of the rest of the exercises in this workout too.
Tens of thousands of miles apart.
So make sure I kind of put a pretty good emphasis on these ones, because once you do, and you start moving once you hit the set to failure, and then you start moving pretty rapidly from one exercise to the next, just drives it all home, dude. So kind of put a lot of emphasis on the warm-up, but once you get going, you start getting going, and it starts getting good.
At some point, the son starts fighting back. The dad lets him win. Then the dad takes the mask off of his face, puts it on the son's face, and he welcomes him to a seat at the table. As in, now we're going to forge you into a man. Because there's something physical that happens to a young girl when she becomes a woman. She has a menstrual cycle. She begins to develop breasts. For young boys, what really happens that's physical that says you are now a man? Nothing. So there has to be a rite of passage
I made a short yesterday, and it was like me on the lat pull down singles. And I basically just cut out the portion where I was just taking it all the way to max. So I'd already done probably like 10 reps, hard, heavy reps. And then I started doing assisted reps. And some dude was like, you don't have to fucking make the sound. Just like, bro, at the fucking 13th, 14th rep, and they're all forced, and you took it all the way to failure, what the hell do you think it's gonna sound like? Like, it ain't gonna be pretty, dude. This shit ain't glamorous. You know, if you're going to full exhaustion, you're trying to exhaust a body part, with all the force that you have in you, you're gonna make some sounds, dude. So it's like, whatever, dude. It's just kind of funny, whatever. Alright. What's that, like three sets?
The book is called Raising a Modern Day Knight.
Yep, so we'll go to failure on this one. Then we're going to go over here to a military press with just cables and drive it home. I'm just doing basically 2 exercises for front, 2 exercises for the side, and then there'll be kind of a mixture. There'll be about 3 for the back. So nothing too extensive, but definitely we'll go as intense as we can the whole time as we're doing each exercise. All right.
That triggered me to go on a journey to find a supplement that supports brain health with the cleanest of ingredients on the planet. And I found it. I was actually going to start my own company and do this, but I found Laird Superfoods. I partnered with them now in South Carolina, and I really believe in these products. Here's my favorite product: Performance Mushrooms by Laird Superfoods.
Yeah. All right. Do like one warm-up set on these, and then do heavy set to failure.
That supports brain health. And here's 2 other products that I'm a fan of. Laird Superfoods Creamer. Guess what? Contains functional mushroom extract. Cookie with SRS, you'll get % off. And if you're super durable 5G net.
A book when my wife was pregnant with my son Andrew. And Sean, as I'm reading through that book, Raising a Modern Day Knight, I realized there's a lot of stuff that I don't know. At that point, I'm 30 years old. I was pregnant with our first son.
I feel like doing these standing today, so that's what we're gonna do.
Helping him develop and find his purpose.
Make sure that height is good.
As I'm reading the book so I can help my son, I realized this book is helping me. And while my mom and dad were together, and my dad was a great dad, he was one of those dads where he was working because we came to this country, we're immigrants, we're foreigners, we barely have any money, so he's working multiple jobs, he's just providing for us, but there was no mentorship, there was no development of values. And so I ended up getting into a lot of trouble. And so as I'm reading this stuff, I'm like, holy cow, I need to learn to become a modern day knight so that I can teach my son this. And so through that, we created the Squire program because there was no rite of passage now. And this is why, by the way, young boys, it's obviously young boys who come from a single family, a single mom raising them. There was no dad who ended up joining the gang and in the military. All of those things, by the way, is a rite of passage. All young boys are looking to the older boys who seem to have their shit together.
You gotta say that shoulders are not necessarily my favorite workout.
They're always looking to the older boys.
So really just chest and back right now. I'm just like really looking forward to getting in here and doing.
Older brother doesn't fulfill that.
So I feel like you go through phases. Sometimes you're into legs. Sometimes you're into doing shoulders, whatever it is, but you know, this stuff's already hard enough to get in here doing it every single day. So, I mean, the least resistance you can put yourself through by going with the flow. If you're into legs, fucking blast the shit out of them. If you're not feeling like doing shoulders, you know, still probably need to throw them in there, but if you got a body part you're really fucking looking forward to hitting, fucking take advantage of that. That's all I'm saying. You know, go with your body's natural rhythm, what you're feeling.
Fathers and sons, I'm helping myself as well.
And there are those times. I'm just saying this is a general kind of beginner type of rule, especially, and for longevity. But you know, obviously, you're not gonna want to do that year round. But yeah, if you got those periods, fucking roll with them, dude. You know, it is what it is.
We're former military.
We're playing this game for the long haul, not for a short amount of time. At least I'm not.
All these guys introduced me to so many people now. I'm so familiar with your world. Like, oh my God, we have got operations who are vetted, like, you know, are solid human beings. Nick Kumalasco, another dude. And I just would call him up and go, hey, this is my son. Would you mentor him through the Squire program? And like, dude, I'm in. And now that young man goes to the Squire program with that former military person, and then afterwards they build that relationship. They talk, they connect, and now that young man has in his life. And at the end of the day, doesn't matter who your dad is, as long as you're getting mentored by a male who's got a direction, who's got a path, who's got core values. That's what I realize is it takes a tribe. And in the absence of a dad, if your dad was just a sperm donor and then he's no longer around, like, find other father figures. And that's really what the Squire program.
How many of those are you doing here?
We're doing 2 of those a year, and now we've licensing those out across the country to fathers and sons that have gone through it. Darnell, for example, a firefighter out of Houston, he went through the Squire program with his son. He loved it so much, it transformed their relationship.
Next is going to be side lateral raises.
Squire program.
I am going to go a little bit lighter on my set to failure, just so I can get a little bit more focused and squeeze and contracts and just keep that muscle a little bit more isolated. I've been swinging them around pretty good, which is good. I'm exposing my body to heavy weight, but yeah, I just feel like fucking kind of just driving the side, I said lat, but delt home with these exercises here.
And I'll show you how. And so, I think if we do this right, like, we're going to really impact the next generation. And it just feels so different.
How long have you been doing this?
The Squire program's been going on for about 2 years.
You know, one thing I noticed with some of the younger generations is very, most people are anyways, but it seems like younger generation, they're terrified to take risks.
Yeah.
Terrified. Yeah. And they victimize. And do you see the people that go through your program, whether it's the project or the Squire program, do you see more risks being taken in? How are they handling failure? Are you seeing more people take risks through your program?
After the events, absolutely. Because that's one thing we tell them is that in life there is no failure unless it's death. It's just temporary defeat. Everything's temporary defeat. Again, something that I've learned from your community. I think it was Jason Redmond that said it.
It's actually really good
You guys have like good, better, and best
exercise, and I used to do it at the end of my workouts. Whenever I was doing a lot of volume,
whatever it's called.
we basically take a 45-pound weight and you just fucking hold it and rotate it around your head the whole time. And dude, actually I might end up doing that at the end of this workout. Finish off with traps and then just fucking drive it home with that 45-pound, it's the Olympic plates, what you're using with handles on it.
To say, please let me open doors, and so these social skills that you and I grew up with, the ability to...
And really, if you want to get technical, I was just thinking about it. Even though these are warm-up sets, I am using it as kind of a pre-exhaustive type of set before the one main set to failure. So I guess it is kind of 2 working sets, because you are, you know, putting a stress on your body a little bit, but
doesn't mean
I usually only call it a warm up.
you can actually.
So I guess it kind of is. It's not the max set, but
reaccomplish
technically, if you want to get into
stay down.
what constitutes volume versus what's not volume,
12 hours, you see
I mean, if it's just producing a burn
and what I can tell you
and
is
stimulus, then it probably is. You could call it, consider it volume.
getting the experience.
And it's probably not junk volume either, because it's unto a purpose, unto a goal. So,
I need to start reframing.
I don't know, just thinking out loud here.
A temporary defeat. I need to start.
Alright.
I need to start looking for more adventures in my life and not just grinding away at work, but then letting my child get raised by the television. And so we encourage these dads, like, hey, why don't you every 3 or 4 months, like, go on an adventure with your son, go do something, go on a surf excursion, go on a hike that's overnight in camp. And I don't know how to there's YouTube videos that teach you how to camp and survive overnight and figure it out together. And that's just a bond, because men, unlike women, don't just sit around at a table openly freely connect and for deep conversation. It's installed for women to do that. What's installed for us is to go, hey, I do it good. And I go, yeah.
Okay.
My life might be a mess. We are doing something physically together where you're
Dropped, usually do that with
towards a common thing, but I'm like,
35s or 30s.
this is what's happening in my life.
That's definitely a lot more concentrated.
Been through that. Here's how
If you want to get technical,
I consider this.
your body doesn't actually know
Things together.
whether it's 25s or 35s, bro.
Go and
All it knows is if you're going past the point of failure,
figure it out.
you know,
Right? So we teach them all those things.
and then you're putting that maximum
Go on. And I know
stimulation on the muscle.
the scary part, people go,
So,
they're teaching common sense.
changing up rep ranges when you feel like it sometimes.
But that's how far we
Not as a rule
It's not so common.
to get yourself out of work, but, you know, just listening to your body, being intuitive with your training, whatever. Going with the flow a little bit rather than just creating a balls out fucking resistance the whole time. That's what leads to burnout, man. Just fucking go with the flow when you can. Shit, like I said, it's already hard enough. So, anytime that I can take a path of least resistance that's still into the goal, fucking run that shit. I'll fucking take it. All right, that was a good ass movement right there. I feel that a lot.
They still don't feel it.
We'll do side lateral raises, a little bit of a variation there. I've broke it down several times in my shoulder workouts for you guys. Not gonna go into it again.
Your upbringing and journey to entrepreneurship.
No warm-up sets, just one set to failure.
And
Should probably put some weight on here, or else it ain't gonna work.
stories like yours, because I think that not just men, women too, a lot. I think the majority of this country victimizes themselves in one way or another, some more than others. But you know, everybody who's so mentally stuck in wherever they're at in life, they feel very disturbed. I'm not exactly sure where it comes from, but it's stories like yours that Where did you grow up?
Well, I was born in Harlem, which in 1949 now, right? And in 1980, Darwin was part of the Soviet Union. My dad was a member of the Communist Party. He asked me, "Why escape from the United States?" Her dad was a member of the Communist Party. Because yes, they asked him if he wanted to become a member of the Communist Party, but he used to wind up in Siberia.
And happy birthday to me.
The story.
Ain't nobody around to celebrate it with, but
Honor.
it is what it is.
Because if I didn't, I'd end up in Siberia.
It's like any other fucking day to me, man.
At the time,
What was going on inside?
It's like
well, Siberia is basically where you
Valentine's Day, Christmas, New Year's. Obviously, I know it's those days,
stand up and
but typically it'll get to like a day before. I'm like, oh fuck, dude, tomorrow's like New Year's, man. What the fuck? Or Christmas.
Siberia was
Or I'll get a text from my mom. It's like, happy birthday. I'm like, oh shit. But yeah, just doing my thing out here in the middle of a bunch of fucking corn and soybean fields out in the country, getting myself right, mentally, physically, emotionally, taking time out to actually process the shit that fucking happens to you through your fucking day so you can reach better conclusions and how to proceed in fucking life, adjusting yourself. I think we're moving too fast as a culture, man. I think it's good to slow down and just process the shit that's going on. Because when you don't, you leave a bunch of shit undealt with. And if you got a million different loose end scenarios in your mind, why wouldn't you feel anxious? You got all this shit pressing on your subconscious. Taking time out, getting out in the fucking country and just sorting through your fucking bullshit is gonna fucking help you out a lot. Alright, it's a little fucking motivational thing for today. Okay, so we're gonna do rear delts here. And we're gonna basically go into pull downs. But the pull downs aren't just a lat pull down, it's the same movement. But I'm doing it behind the back, which I've already explained you guys don't fucking like doing. But I just feel like it just targets the fuck out of your lats, or out of the traps, especially that higher, just that whole fucking trap area on your back, upper back. So I'm gonna be throwing that in there. Plus it's kind of a rear delt movement too. So I'm gonna pre-exhaust with the first, rear dumbbell raise, is what I'll call them, and then move into that. From there, move into just some regular fucking trap movements. I'll set it up after this warm up.
My brother was 19 at the time. He turned 20 and he's going to the military. And so I'm 6 years old. My brother's 19. My sister's 22. And my dad, I gotta escape this place. Take my kids to freedom. And I'm sure that my oldest son doesn't go and fight this war in Afghanistan and the Soviet Union. And it's how we're losing like these. Just like we saw for the last 20 years here. There was
Well, that sure ain't a lot of weight, Tim. The fuck? Dude, I'm 5'6", 163 pounds right now. The fucking shoulders, look how big that is. It's nothing, dude. Side, rear delt, fucking little bitty muscles. How strong do you expect them to be? Yeah? Bigger guys press a little bit more weight, but if you're trying to actually isolate that muscle, I mean, you ain't gonna fucking, it's not a strong muscle, dude. Alright, set this thing up here. This is already set up, but.
And I remember there was a knock on the door several months before we left. Right as the sun went down, it was already getting dark, there was a knock on the door. And 2 agents come to our house. Now, it's not like here where they have to knock, so they have to have a warrant. None of that. This is the Soviet Union. The KGB knock, we let them in. And they knock and they go, "We're here. You were making stuff on the black market." One of these agents are one of the guys that have bought a suit for my dad, so he knows. But they're not here looking for what he's making. They're here because they've heard that he's trying to escape. And again, this guy knew, that agent knew. And so they were looking for evidence that my dad was making sure they were looking for like a meter stick, chalk, thimble, sewing machine, anything that would show that he's making stuff on the black market. And my dad was really detail oriented. He would hide everything. So they searched the entire apartment, and they got us lined up in the hallway along the wall. Myself, my mom, my older brother, my older sister. My dad, he speaks 5 languages. He's Russian, he's speaking to them. He's go search here, go look there. We want to give you access to it. More than happy to. This obviously a misunderstanding. My dad absolutely lying to these guys. Scared, because I could sense that my mom is tense, my brother and sister are tense. And they couldn't find me. So my dad said, "Well, I want to do a trip here to the place."
I actually feel like, yeah, in a contracted position, you get some, I don't know, you feel it pretty good, but I feel like in that movement, all the way in that stretch position is where you really start to get the most activation. And after you've done that about 3 or 4 reps, then squeezing all the way up, even if it's a thrusted up to catch, you're still gotta, and you're using momentum with your body, you're still working that negative on the way down into that stretch. Fucking, I like that movement. And you go over here to rear pull downs for the rear delt and traps. Emphasis on the traps now.
My mom would wait in line, and then when we get to the front of the counter, even though the shelves were empty, they somehow had bread and butter and cheese for us. I later found out it was through my dad's connections. And that's the problem with the corrupt government. It was a corrupt system. And so, you know, socialism doesn't work, and that's proof of it, because they keep stuff behind the counter for the people that matter, and for the rest of the civilians, you don't get access. And so I literally remember eating, there was like this beautiful sourdough bread pieces that my mom would put out every morning, butter on it, and caviar, like Russian caviar. I grew up on Russian caviar. We come to the United States, I'm 6 years old, bro, I want the same breakfast that my mom gave me.
Okay.
Sourdough bread, butter, and caviar. We don't have that. Now it's government cheese. We're living in Section 8 housing. It's like this horrible, horrible tasting peanut butter. Bread is just completely dry because it's the 80s. We're immigrants. We're broke. And I share that because it took some assimilation for me not to just learn the language and the culture, but to realize that we just went from, the parents told me we're coming to a country of freedom, of opportunity, there's abundance. Yet my quality of life as a 6-year-old just diminished.
Wow.
I lost my friends. I'm being picked on. There's gangs all over these Section 8 housing communities. They're beating the crap out of me because I'm a foreigner. I don't speak the language. And the delicious food that I used to eat is no longer available. I'm eating government food. And so it was a pretty rough upbringing from there.
How long was the transition from Italy into the US?
10 days.
That's it?
Yeah, 10
Just
days.
10 days.
Yeah, and there was hotels in Italy owned by people that were anti-communist that dedicated like wings to escapees.
Really?
Bro, it's such a crazy story. Here's a powerful story. As toxic as socialism is. Recently, a woman who from Italy reached out. She said, my mom ran one of those small little boutique hotels
Alright.
where Armenian refugees would come through.
Draw this home a little bit with just some shrugs. I'm not big on a lot of the shrug movements, especially barbell shrugs. I don't feel like you can really get a good movement, and I see once you start getting heavy, you're just like throwing the weight up. It's almost like if you watch people doing heavy shrug movements with barbell, they will literally just throw themselves under the weight. It's fucking weird. It's like there's no range of motion there. It might be working just because there's just sheer fucking weight being held. But as far as a good range of motion and squeezing all that shit, and it's scraping against your dick, dude, like, I'm fucking good. So I prefer like the deadlift bar that goes around you. That's a good one I like. So I feel like it's just kind of a natural movement anyways, but that or this one I'm about to show you. And farmer's walk is a good one too. But just hold them at your sides, up, with about a 5-second negative down. You can lean forward a little bit, lean back, and then a total just all out relaxed stretch at the end.
And so people started to call me Herman. And I didn't know any better, so I started to respond to Herman, to the point where at school teachers would call me Herman. And so we're living in Section 8 housing. There's a lot of gangs in Santa Ana, California, especially. The gang that was really prominent is called F Troop. F Troop. Yeah, F Troop is a very violent gang. They're still going strong there. And dude, they would just bully anyone. And I remember my dad found like a bike.
Was this like an Armenian gang?
No, man, they're Mexican gangs.
Mexican.
Yeah. Santa Ana is especially at the time, even now, parts of Santa Ana are very highly Hispanic, and the F Troop runs large parts of the gang-infested parts of Santa Ana. And so those Section 8 housing complexes were in those parts of town. I guess like it was cheaper to live in, so that's how that was. But because of that, they would steal my bike. My dad like found this broken up bike, he pieced it together, and I had a bike. Rusted, completely.
All right.
They stole it from me. These gang members stole it from me. And first they beat me up, and then they stole it. I go home crying. By this point, I'm 16 years old. I go home, my dad comes home.
Try to remember my microphone here.
Stole it. He's pissed off. He gives
To
me
drive these shoulders home.
that's how it is. That's
One set of failure to this.
part of the world.
Just total burnout.
I'm not saying it's right, that's just how it is. I've since forgiven myself.
Hey everybody, I want to talk to you about two products from First Form. One is OptiGreens 50, the other is OptiReds 50. We all know how life can get very busy, hectic, it turns into a lot of stress. Next thing you know, a whole month has gone by and you don't even realize it because you just been so fast. And when you get in these situations or these little sections of life that are like that, what's the first thing that always goes to the wayside? Your diet. I'm guilty of my diet when I'm stressed out, when I'm busy, when life gets hectic. And you know what? The first thing that goes from my diet, it's always greens. Just how it is. I don't know why, it's just always greens. And so I started trying this new product from First Form, OptiGreens 50. These are great. They are processed with low sugar, so that way they don't affect the ingredients. There's no synthetic colors, flavors, sweeteners, or preservatives. 100% non-GMO and gluten-free. Here's the cool thing. They come in these little travel packets now, right? So you can keep these in the truck, keep them at work, keep them at home. Open one up, dump it into a bottle of water, and there's your daily vegetables, greens, whatever you want to call it, intake, right? Then on top of that, they also have OptiReds 50, which is a daily reds intake.
Probably takes about 15 minutes
Amazing. It tastes pretty good too. So,
with shoulder
to get your diet
triceps if we did them.
or at least supplement vegetables and reds.
That was a shoulder workout.
Busy, you don't have time to cook the way you'd like to. I suggest you try First Form.
I'd rather save shoulders for the gym tonight.
From First Form.
On my break. Get a little pump in. That's what I'm gonna do too. So I'm gonna do some abs.
That's firstform.com/SRS. Get yours today. And get free shipping on orders over $75. That's OptiGreens and
Sends me a flathead screwdriver and says, go get your bike back, and the next time someone tries to take it, stab him. Like, okay. And so I know I don't want to meet him again, so the next time someone tries to take my bike, I have to do it.
I need to have core take a pretty big priority right now.
Pretty early on.
On the days that I don't walk
Going on 7.
or do abs, I'll get up the next day, my back's hurting.
In our
With back surgeries, coming off back surgeries,
Go back
that area is already weak. The core,
between the ages of
sides,
4 and 6, and this is something I would never
rear,
think about if we were doing
I forget what they're called.
this show. But I sent
They run right along your spine, basically connect to your hips.
but in Armenia,
And then obviously the abdominal muscles
I was molested.
definitely need strengthened.
And this
So,
happened on a daily
Do some, I ain't gonna say rest pause, but I'm just gonna do
going into the carport.
4 or 5 sets. We'll go with 5
And I was
to failure.
much younger than them. They were probably 13.
Fucking draw the line right there.
5.
Good little 10 minutes in.
For a couple of years. So my mom and dad didn't even realize by escaping the Soviet Union, they saved me from that. So I already had this, like, I was always anxious and angry as a kid growing up because I couldn't do anything about that. And now I'm getting bullied and beat up by gangs. My dad gives me a flathead screwdriver and says, this is the answer. And so I realized it was almost like it was in the cards for me to end up like them. And so as soon as I learned the language, stayed around in that community long enough, they kind of adopt you. I was never in the game, but they kind of adopt you as a friend, and you start running with them. And when they start carjacking, so as I got into my teens, they start carjacking. I realized there's money to be made in carjacking people. You steal at the time Honda Civics and Honda Accords. We can park them out and give them to auto body shops, those parts, instead of buying it from the dealership, like a Fender. So let's say a 1985, 1986 Honda Civic would cost what? Let's say $200 from the actual dealership. They get it for $50 from us, and then they sell it to the customer for $100, so they make more profit instead of having to go through the dealership. And so we carjacked.
Now this isn't ab and nutrition talk, which I've been trying to post those just to see the mentality and little micro adjustments that it's taken me to go from overweight to six pack. But one of the things I've been thinking a lot about lately is going above and beyond. And especially with the 75 hard program, like you got a set amount of daily tasks that you got to hit every single day. And like instead of doing like 45 minutes for an outdoor workout, like you'll get to the point where it's like 45 minutes, you'll start negotiating with yourself a little bit, like I'm at like 43, I'll go in or whatever. Not that I have, I'm just saying that's a kind of a thought process. But whenever you get to the point where you're like, no, dude, I'm actually like, you hear that little voice, you say, nah, dude, I'm actually going 50 minutes or whatever. And if you start putting your, almost like your standard above where it's supposed to be at, and you go from one task to the next in your day, and you start saying, no, I'm going to hit 12 pages of a book. No, I'm going to hit fucking over a gallon of water. Whatever it is, and just like no negotiation, no fucking compromise on those things, you'll be surprised at how much momentum you have. And not only that, but whenever you're walking around in daily life, you're like, yeah, I'm that motherfucker that goes above and beyond in the things that he does. And you don't have to tell anybody, but since you proved it to yourself, you just walk around with a different type of confidence. And you feel fucking good, your head's high. Whenever you're not shrinking out of shit and you're going above and beyond. And it's a big thing when you're keeping momentum, whenever we're talking about success and achieving and doing everything you can. And the thing is, you don't have to do that for a lifetime. You just got to do it for today. You just got to do it one day at a time. I can give my all today. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about yesterday. Like today, I can give my all to this thing I'm doing right now. Go above and beyond. And whenever my head hits the pillow and I get up tomorrow, then I've just got to do it one more day. That's it. And whenever you start winning the day, then you'll win the week. And whenever you start winning weeks, and you're winning months. And whenever you're winning months at a time, then you're winning the year. And whenever you're winning years, now you're winning your fucking life. So it's a big fucking deal.
She's across the parking lot with another police officer, and she points to the first guy and nods her head. Yep, that was him. I saw him. Second guy, saw him. Third guy, saw him. Points to me, shakes her head. I don't recognize him. So I getaway driver. I realized that was the fork in the road for me, man. Like that day, they ended up getting arrested, going to jail. I ended up just having my car impounded and spending the night at the police station in the holding cell. Wow. That was the difference. And that day I decided, if things don't change, and I felt every time we do these, by the way, whether it was a carjacking or a home invasion, and I just want to go on record, by the way, because people go, dude, that's pretty bad. We made sure that the houses were empty. Like this was, obviously we did a horrible job this time around. So we don't want to be violent towards anyone. I especially didn't. And at this point, I had a lot of influence with my friends, and I was like, we don't need to go. Let's just take cars.
Yeah, I think, like,
But we don't need to be violent towards
the abs are a muscle too.
Every time someone would put up a
So you want to do kind of the progressive overload
So the idea was to come at
to build the muscle. Because if you're not going past your point of no return from last time, then what the hell are you presenting your body to create the adaptive response? So it's either you're increasing the time
they're putting up a fight.
not necessarily reps, or you're increasing the reps, or you're increasing the angle to a deeper angle, or you're increasing some sort of weight. But some sort of factor has to be there, or less time in between sets, something, dude, to create the need for your body to say, oh shit, I gotta cope to this. This is something new. And you basically don't leave growth up to chance. You don't hope it's gonna happen. Leave your diet up to chance. Leave the reps up to chance. Leave going to failure to chance. Don't get sleep and hope it's all gonna work out one day. But you are fucking doing everything. You're being proactive to the point where it's like there's nowhere to go but for growth to happen. Like there's no other fucking solution. You're not leaving your body a way out. It's like, this is the only way, motherfucker. I'm gonna force you to grow. Because people don't realize you have to fucking force growth. It ain't just gonna fucking happen.
I realized, holy smokes, while my dad was there, he was, again, I understand, man, he came from a very troubled background himself as a kid. He was beaten. He's seen some stuff, We come to a country and now he's trying to fend for us and provide for us, and so he's just always angry. And all he knows is violence, and so that's how he kind of raised us. And so it was Dr. Laura that taught me, that I first learned about karma. Like, I'm either gonna fill up the karmic bank account or I need to fill up the goodwill bank account. But if you fill up the karmic bank account, it's gonna come at you at some point and pay your karmic debt. And so I'm listening to Dr. Laura to absolve my guilt.
And I don't mean to make it sound that intense, because it actually doesn't have to be that intense. Once you know what stimulates growth, the factors that, surround it, nutrition and diet, rest days, proper amount of sleep at night, and the proper stimulation, then you don't have to do it. Like, okay, fucking grow, do 100 fucking reps, 100 fucking sets. No, you just, once you realize how the body works, you go on bicep curls right till you can't anymore, and then that's whenever you start fucking growing. That's whenever you need to start really kicking it in. Go past that, 3 to 5 fucking reps, boom, you fucking did it. It's actually that simple. But you have to force it to grow. Whenever you want to stop, you have to go past that to give your body a reason to actually say, I have to put resources here and build this up so I can encounter that stress better the next time. Boom, that's it, man. And like I said, if your diet, nutrition, rest is all there, boom, you're fucking seeing progress now.
And the rest of them will run. And to his credit, it proved to be true.
Can you go through that event?
Well, the first time when I went to stab, I pulled it out and I was hoping that's all I had to do. And I always had it in my pocket. And I was hoping that's all I had to do. When I went to stab this guy, and by the way, they always had bats with them and knives with them, and they would threaten me. They never once cut me with it, but I've plenty of times been threatened with bats and knives, so it wasn't just like they came with their fists. And so because of that,
Plus you were 7.
yeah,
7 years old.
yeah, exactly. And I get it, that's what they're predators, right? So they're going after young kids and stuff that they don't even have to fight for. But
Good shit, it's getting fucking hot out here. I'm able to break a sweat now. This is kind of one of those year-round fucking gyms that I fucking built. Doesn't matter if it's fucking rain, sleet, snow. I'm gonna be out here. It's gonna be fucking good, man. This summer just started. June 21st marks the summer equinox, or the sun where it's starting to get into the highest peak state in the sky. So right in the infancy stages of that, early days of summer. Still got 3 good months of just hot peak fucking summer to go. I'm gonna be in this cutting phase probably 2 more months. And that's just because I'm inexperienced doing it and I'm still tweaking it and figuring out what's right for my body. And work out a bunch of these kinks, get to where I want to be fat-wise. And then I'm gonna pivot and turn that corner and start fucking going into strength increases and really honing in my fucking routine as far as how many rest days I need, how many rep ranges, and weight, how many sets, all that shit, dude. It's about to start getting fucking good for me, man. I can fucking feel it, bro.
Just go to 10. And that's what I have to do.
Doing the right thing when nobody's fucking looking, not for anybody else, but for yourself, because it's a fucking, you're just like, it's like you're just refining your soul, dude. It's like a soul endeavor you're after. You're competing with yourself, no one else.
They all take off.
You ain't got anything else to prove to anybody else but your fucking self, you know?
And at that point,
And you're always refining it.
confidence.
All right, one more set to failure on this, and we're gonna fucking wrap up abs.
Gains and just punks. But I started to build a reputation, which I liked because I wasn't in their game. I didn't have many friends. We would move around a lot in that community, but you're still in the same community, so you get to see the same kids at the 7-Eleven, at the McDonald's, and at the school track. Like there was a track where all the kids would go and they'd ride the bikes and stuff. There's like a high school, Magdalene High School, and so now you've got a reputation where, hey, this kid's tough, he's violent. They start making friends with you because now they want to be in college, and now they pull you into their circle. And I realized I wanted a friendship. I was alone. We moved around to all these different apartments, but we're always in the same community. So I said, all these guys having fun. I want to join them. And so it was easy enough for me to want to join them, even though months earlier they were attacking me and stealing my shit. Now I realize at least I have friends. Now I'm part of the pack. And this is truly, when I look back into my life and go, like this was my rite of passage. This was my rite of passage. And these older games, these older
And that is day 62 of 75 hard in the spring cut. Really appreciate you guys who are following along with me. You guys are saying some good stuff in the comments. I appreciate you. If you like the way that I break down the workouts, run you through them, the stuff I talk about and cover, please share, like, and subscribe. If you guys don't like them, all good, dude. We'll part as friends. That was day 62, shoulders and abs workout. Leave triceps for tonight, and have a day off tomorrow, just rest. Still do my cardio stuff, but very light and intense tomorrow. So I'll be back with you guys on Monday. We all know Monday is International Chest Day, so we're gonna be fucking hitting it. All right, guys, I appreciate you, and I'll see you guys later.